So, because our education system was set up by the elites, normally the inhumane elites, often conservative. Now, the reason Zionism, imperialism, empire has allowed to exist and is allowed to get away with genocide, and the reason it wants its greater Israel, which goes beyond its own borders of the United Nations, is it looked up to the great British Empire, which was full of royal families and conservative lords and knights scum. Now, they knew that to hold on to Palestine, holy Palestine, they would have to set up, similar to the Great British Empire, their own version of information collecting, aka the blackmail files, the spy agency. The spy agency is to prop up empire imperialism. It isn't to look after the bah sheep. Bah, bah. Yeah, you're the sheep. You're the sheep. The education system was designed so that we go, please, sir, may I go toilet, sir? Please, miss, may I go toilet, miss? You're not meant to ask to go to the toilet. That is a human and wildlife and animal and sea creatures automatic right. Now, they bred you asking questions out of you. They bred thinking for yourself. Why do you think the education system starts from nursery up to 18 plus? And why do you think the Project 2025 wants to get rid of the education system in the modern era? It's because slowly people are asking questions. They're not going to close down the internet. They're not going to close down social media. When they mocked us and we said www Wide World Web would be massive, the elites laughed. And then when the conservative elites realised, oh shit, it does actually work, they put all their money into the internet. It's worth trillions upon trillions upon trillions. They will never close it down. But they will close individuals down like Scott 1984 FP. That is Scott 1984 FP on Twitter and TikTok. They'll close individual accounts down because I'm telling you to think with your brain, not your heart, your emotional heart. You've had it all bred out of your brain. And the same people that say don't trust government, well, they're the same people that will blindly go, no, the Tories would never do anything bad. No. Only Labour does something bad. Only the Lib Dems do something bad. But they will just, yes, sir, look, Tory sort of, yeah. The reason Zionism empire exists and is going to spread outside of its borders is because they collected blackmail files. They created the best spy agency outside of the Great British Empire and Italy and the USA and France and Russia and China. They did it a little bit better. And they have every secret you can imagine. Whether the CEO has had an affair, the CEO has a secret love child, the CEO is a massive paedophile, the CEO is a rapist, the CEO has done coups in Africa, the CEO has murdered someone. They collect all this shit, and they collect it from every CEO and politician and every royal family. And that is why spy agencies are not meant to prop up empires. They are meant to prop up the country, the majority, the sheep people. Bah. Because a country is based on its people and its ethics and its morals. And if it doesn't have that, it doesn't have democracy. The world does not have democracy. It hasn't had democracy. What the elites do is they cave. They go, fucking women want voting rights. Oh, I'll just give it to them because if they get too thinking, if they think too much, they'll want more than women's voting rights. They'll want more than LGBT rights if they start thinking. So they cave and they give you a bit of drib and drab of these rights. And they divide you. They own mainstream media. And I don't mean the Zionists. Zionism is like on a blip. Conservatism is like, whoa! Conservatism is literally found in the first human evolution of mankind, tribes. It was a tribe figured out that we can't let the philosophers and the thinkers and all of that be in charge. Because I might have to be bossed around from time to time. Conservatism just means traditional values. And guess what? Those values don't belong to us. Yeah, they'll let anyone in. But as long as you've got a psychopathic or sociopathic or narcissistic mind, they'll let you into the club. They don't care what sexuality or what colour you are. You have to be inhumane. You have to be corrupt. You have to support fraud. You have to support slave labour. We all support slave labour. We have blood on all of our hands and all of our souls. From Africa and India and Pakistan and China. We have slave labour. Yeah, we're all hypocrites. And that's why you're meant to understand that politics affects everything. If a government turns around tomorrow and says you can only have one-ply tissue paper by the time it's 2028, guess what? You're having one-ply tissue paper whether you like it or not. If a government's ethics are like the Tories, for example, then they've already sold your country. They've already sold everything. Project BRICS and Project 25 are the same crap. The West is drying up. I mean, it is drying up like you would not believe on the greed of conservatism. Conservatism, capitalism is a pyramid scheme, and those at the top run the system. They figured out that with the internet, they can't close it down anymore because it's worth trillions upon trillions upon trillions. So they're going to push capitalism on the East. And while they're doing that, they needed bigger countries that weren't so corrupt or weren't seen as corrupt, weren't seen as dictatorships. And that's why they nobbled Boris Johnson, Nigel Farage, Donald Trump. And this is why they thought exit would happen in Italy and France. It's because France, Italy, the UK and the USA, conservatism, elite establishment, political party, foundation ideologies, or offshoots called the far right, aka UKIP, English Defence League, British National Party, the DUP, any of that, all offshoots of far rightism. Now, they really thought that we'd vote for Brexit. Boris Johnson would be able to replace David Cameron pretty quickly. No, it happened to be Theresa May. Then there were some delays because there was lots of arguing over 2% on a non-legal binding referendum. The referendum was designed to say, look, do you want to leave the EU or stay in the EU? And then after that, if we decided to stay or leave, we'd then go to the next stage, which is, well, what kind of trade deal could we get? And then, do you want this shitty trade deal or do you want to stay in the EU? It was never binding. And so there was lots of delays. And then Boris Johnson couldn't take over Theresa May quite quickly. The final phrases to join BRICS before it becomes BRICS Plus, when every country's nearly fucking in it on the East, was 2020 to 2024. It's why Donald Trump does the coopy coop. It's why he rolls up his things. It's why he says war's going to start. War's already started, baby. You're just too asleep. Now, I own nothing. And I'm a nobody. But try and find Scott1984 FP on Twitter and TikTok and ask your question why a nobody would be closed down. A nobody closed down. Ask your question like that. Ask your question. Ask questions. Think for yourself for a change. I'm fed up with human beings. You're toxic at times.